check this out. The Voyager documentary backer premiere has happened, and it was
Hmm.
glorious. So the first one was at Paramount Studios in Hollywood just a few days ago. And that was huge and beautiful and amazing. A lot of Los Angelinos were there. Uh, I was not able to go to that one because I was flying to New Jersey. But I went to the one in New York City because it was the day after the convention. Anne Marie went to that one. Our good friend Dr. Mohammed Noor was there.
Yeah, he flew
I
in for
got
a
I
night.
I got my brother to go because he's in New
Yeah.
York
That's
City.
awesome.
And then Kate Mulgrew came out on stage and introduced the show, and it was amazing. And Ethan Phillips also introduced her, and then he told jokes, and it was just. And then at some point, he was like stalling for something, and I yelled out, "More jokes!" And then he's like, "Oh, what? More jokes?" And then he started telling more jokes. But then Kate Mulgrew came out, and we didn't get to hear the end of the
I
joke. But
know.
then when she was done, she left. He came back up and he finished the joke, and it's definitely one of those head shaker jokes. So I wrote it down.
Was it Rat Pack
Something to aspire
worthy?
to. Yes.
I think it was the rye bread joke, right? Yeah.
So good. So good. Oh, that was wonderful. And Ryan T. Husk was up on stage.
Oh yeah, I went up on stage. That
That was
was
Ooh.
fun.
amazing. Got
Kate
some great
Well,
Mulgrew
pictures.
actually said my name. She said, "Ryan T. Husk, come on up on stage."
mhm.
And I went up on stage with Lolita Faggio, Dave Zappone, and it was a good time. We kept it quick, just a couple words, and then the show started. And I think people really liked
Okay,
it.
well, first they had a preview for the Michael Westmore documentary, which looks like the most amazing thing in the entire universe. Sorry, Voyager documentary, like you're gonna be rivaled. Like this documentary looked so amazing. I mean, then the Voyager documentary started, and that also was really amazing. During the preview, though, I was like, "Whoa, this is going to be hard to follow." Like, that's the magic of 455 films. They have such great content.
Yeah, it's
So
a good
much to look
one.
forward to.
It's a good
Yeah.
one. I'm excited for it. And there's some funny lines there. But I don't know, man. Rivaling the Voyager documentary, we'll see.
Well, I also say that every time I'm like, how are they going to top this documentary? And then another one comes out, and I love that too. Starting with the
Mhm.
captains, which I fell in love with.
What did you love most
Um,
about the Voyager documentary premiere?
Oh, you know what? I don't want to give away things, but there was like one particular storyline with Ronald D. Moore and Brandon Braga that I actually did not know, and I feel like it takes a lot for me to like actually not know something. And Muhammad Noor was also like, "Yeah, I didn't know like the details of that either." That was really
Hmm.
fascinating, but I loved it all. It was so cute and sweet, and like, I mean, that cast is so wonderful. And my favorite part probably was the end credits as everybody was like cheering as we saw different people's names coming up as backers. That's always really special. And then also like
We got to say
Marina.
hi. We got to say hi and bye to One Trek fan. Bye, One
Okay,
Trek. So sorry to interrupt. All right, continue.
bye. Also Marina Krumchuk, who's like Voyager royalty, was in the audience. So like
And on the screen.
yeah, so when she'd be on the screen, everyone was cheering.
Yeah.
So and she was on the screen a couple times, which was very
There were
fun.
a lot of good laughs in the documentary. There were some
Nice.
good, hearty laughs that were fun. There was
And
one
the editors
moment.
really get the fans,
Yeah, that's our
obviously.
buddy Joe Cornbrough. What a pro. So there was also one moment that I was like that was more emotional than the others for me. I'm not going to tell you when it is, but
Oh.
or I won't say exactly what it is, but it's about the last shooting day of Voyager. And when you see
Hmm.
that story, the last shooting day, there was a very touching moment there that I hadn't
Yes.
heard before, and I thought I'd heard it all.
Hmm.
Oh,
And so I remember most of the stuff. I was there during the filming of most of the stuff, but I
Mhm.
did not see that. So that
Oh,
was new to me.
cool.
And I was like, that's the best moment. And I
I always
missed
That's
love
it.
that
awesome.
story.
Yeah.
Um,
Can
But it
I
was a good
well,
ask
time.
can I ask Ryan a question?
about
Yes.
the documentary because you put so much work into this and had such a pivotal role in the creation of this documentary. What did your were your expectations met, or were you pleasantly
Mm.
surprised? What was your reaction or take on seeing the documentary?
That's funny is that I didn't really watch it as a fan. I
Mhm.
Mm,
watched it as somebody that was watching everybody else's reaction
Yeah.
and being happy that they're laughing, happy
nice.
that they're crying, happy that they're cheering, happy that when it was over, they're excited because I'm thinking like this whole time for these all these years that have gone by, I was just thinking every one of these people, whether they live in LA or whether they live in Fairbanks, Alaska,
Mhm.
or Hungary, they donated $5 or 20 shekels
Mhm.
or whatever people have in Hungary. I guess they do the euro now probably. But what they did was they created something that's going to last forever.
Mhm.
And I really hope that that point hit home and they can have a sense of pride in knowing like I helped to create this thing. I didn't, it's one thing to donate to something, but
Mhm.
it's more than that. They helped to create this thing that celebrates something that they love and it's going to exist forever. And it's a really powerful thing. And I really hope that that point hits them, at some
Mhm.
point.
Mhm.
I really hope they realize, what a big thing they did.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was just very gratifying to see everybody being happy. And, hopefully that everything will start to sink in that way. Now they can take pride in knowing that and believe me, the credits had a lot
Oh
of
my
names.
God. It's
So,
like my Twitter, and it's just like, that was only the A's. And then my
That's
yeah.
favorite
awesome.
line was your brother who's like, you emailed all these people,
That's
Yeah.
which was
amazing.
Kind of.
epic. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm also gonna say like what makes there were it's already poignant in some places in particular, but what made it like kind of like tear jerking is that Jerry Taylor just passed away. And
Mm.
then also my dear Facebook friend Erin Siegel, who's always like, "Hi, other Siegel,"
Oh
who just passed
yeah.
away last week. So it
Mhm.
was really
Yeah.
special getting to see both of them on screen talking about this amazing show.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's such a nice opportunity, when you are, crowdfunding something like that that has so much meaning to so many people, and then they
Mm-hmm.
get to see the result of it and be a part of it in that way. Like that's just so special. Like that's just
Mm-hmm.
so, so special.
And it's a record-breaking crowd-funded documentary.
Exactly.
Record-breaking.
Okay, I was gonna ask, this did more than what we left behind as far as the crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it
Mhm.
broke
See,
like
well,
Frank
okay, and
Zappa's record.
the cool thing
Broke
to
them
me
all.
about this is like if you think about it, Voyager is like it's sort of an international Star Trek because
Yeah.
because for those of us who had Next Gen, I mean, it was syndicated here in the US and it didn't leave the US until much later. Same with DS9, but Voyager, it's so interesting to me to interact with fans from
Hmm.
outside the US and their favorite Star Trek is Voyager. So
Yeah.
that's super cool.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome. That's really, really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like
Also
a
some
movement.
really
It lets
Mm,
people know
mm-hmm.
what a movement can do, whether you
absolutely.
donate $1 or whether, you're writing your feelings
Hmm.
on a piece of cardboard and
Yep.
marching in the
Mm-hmm.
streets. Like these things are movements and it's the power of like a lot of people all wanting one thing
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
done. And
exactly.
they galvanized and made this amazing product because it wouldn't have happened obviously
Hmm.
otherwise. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of a
Yeah.
really powerful thing and when you think about it. And so I was just really happy. I was happy because you looked around and everybody else was happy. I guess maybe I should have sat there and enjoyed it more as a fan and just like go gaga over it, but I did. I got to enjoy it, but I
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
was always kind of mindful of like I hope it's working. I hope people are happy with it. And I think they were, but yeah, you'll see where some of the money goes, not just, special effects and things
Oh,
like that, but
sure.
also there's an
I heard there's
additional
a
part
scene.
of the documentary that we did that is like a really big, expensive thing that
Oh,
Garrett
cool.
Wong was a part of, and it's pretty
Oh,
impressive. Pretty cool.
Awesome.
there's
Yeah.
some
There's
really interesting points too. Like one, I almost wish the documentary, not that I wanted it to be delayed anymore, but something people often talk about is how like America like had white male presidents and then like a black male president and then hopefully next sometimes a woman president, and that
Mm.
they like that's mirrored in Star Trek and how like that's the
Mm.
same trajectory Star Trek took. And so it
Mm-hmm.
would have been nice if we just like if I mean, just the timing wasn't right to like kind of hit on that, because I always think whenever anybody mentions that, it's so fascinating. And
Right.
then the other thing is, kind of looking at like we'll cover it later, but the auction that happened this past weekend and how much money the TOS stuff went for, and also like TOS movies and TNG things and things. But then like iconic things like Janeway's freaking chair goes for way less. And I think that really speaks to like
Mm.
how women weren't really like allowed to have credit cards even until like 50 years ago. And just like
Right.
there's a leg
Mhm.
in the female fandom
Yeah.
that I mean, not that there's a leg in like females have always been massive fans, but like a leg in society with how
Yeah.
women could make money. And so it'll be
Mm-hmm.
interesting then in another like 50 years or 30, 25 years even, like that Janeway and Voyager stuff should be going for equal amounts because it's just as iconic.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, and maybe I'm wrong, but I was thinking that the mood that people had at this premiere was kind of like it almost felt like the first up after a down week. You know
Yes.
what I
Yeah.
mean? It kind of
Mm.
Yeah.
it felt like it was
Yeah.
uplifting.
Thanks so much for watching that clip. We go live every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern with all the latest Star Trek news on the virtual TrekCon channel.